All right, hey, I want to talk about another important piece of art. I'm just going to go ahead and jump in here with Vincent van Gogh's Starry Night. So this is an important piece that we see quite a bit with Scholar Bowl and stuff. So I want to talk about it, and we've seen it everywhere. I mean, it's on posters and it's on notebooks. You can find it on coffee mugs. But Starry Night, the Starry Night, isn't famous because it's pretty. It's famous because it's what the world looked like from the inside of someone's mind, and that person's mind was kind of breaking. And while it's breaking, it's still trying to find beauty in the world. And well, Vincent van Gogh painted the Starry Night in 1889 while living in a psychiatric asylum in Saint Remy, France. And he wasn't there for inspiration. He was there because he was struggling with severe mental illness. And from his window, he could see rolling hills in a small village and the night sky. But what he painted wasn't what he saw. It's more about what he felt. And so when you look at the painting, the stars are swirling, the moon is kind of pulsating, the sky just, it kind of feels alive. It's like it's almost unstable. And that movement isn't accidental. Van Gogh used very thick, emotional brushstrokes to show a world that really just never sits still. And so the sky feels rather like it's overwhelming or it's powerful, like it's almost alive. And it dwarfs the little village that's below it. And that's pretty important because in this painting, nature isn't static. It isn't calm. It's immense and emotional. It's out of our control. And this is how Van Gogh was kind of feeling about himself. And when we look at that little village beneath that swirling sky, we see the buildings, and the buildings are still. The windows are dark. It looks like you have, well, some of the windows are dark. The village is settled in for sleep, and that's a strange contrast here. You have the chaos above, you have the calm below. And when some art historians and scholars believe the village represents the world that Van Gogh wanted to belong to, that would be peaceful and ordered and in the distance. And he paints himself outside of all that. Then you add to that, the tree, the tall, dark cypress tree that reaches upward. Cypress trees were often associated with death and with mourning in European art. And here, the tree stretches from the earth to the sky, like it's connecting the human world to, the infinite and beyond, right? It's the emotional bridge of the painting. It's a symbol of longing, of isolation, of reaching for something that's beyond pain. Now, what is Van Gogh saying in the painting? Well, you can look at some important things here, like that Van Gogh, we know that he sold almost no paintings during his life. He did struggle with poverty and illness and loneliness. He doubted himself constantly. And he once wrote that art was the only thing that was keeping him alive. And the Starry Night isn't peaceful. It's restless. It's unstable. And it's kind of desperate. But it's also beautiful. And it's the visual form of a mind that's trying to make sense of chaos. And what I talk about this all the time. Why does it matter? Why does the Starry Night matter? Well, this painting endures because it captures something that's deeply human. It's the desire to find meaning in suffering. It's the need to believe that beauty still exists. It's the struggle to hold on when your thoughts can feel overwhelming. And Van Gogh didn't paint the world as it was. He painted it as he experienced it. And that honesty is why the painting still moves people, more than 100 years later. And so when we look at the Starry Night, we have to remember that it isn't about stars. It's about standing in the dark and choosing to look up anyway. It's about seeing motion where others can just see stillness. And it's about feeling deeply in a world that often asks us not to. But it's also about finding beauty even when, it's impossible to find peace. And I think that's why it lasts. And it's because it reminds us that even when, there's chaos going all around us, there is still wonder in the world as well. Thanks for watching.